Edition of the Bruce Hooley Show, a special Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. It is March 19th. It is primary day in the state of Ohio. We'll talk a bit about the primary. Most people either have already voted or they're going to vote later today. They've probably made their choices. I've tried to help you with those choices, and we'll shed further light on that as the show progresses today. I do want to get into a little bit what I think the Ohio GOP Senate race is going to tell us about Donald Trump's chances of getting elected President of the United States in November. But after we do that, I'm going to transition into what I think is really important about a news event that happened yesterday as it projects into the future, as it concerns things that we kind of think are uniquely American. An election, uniquely American, right? You get to vote, you get to voice your preference for candidates. It's not uniquely American. Of course, they hold elections in a lot of countries, free elections, fair elections. We don't think so. Vladimir Putin was just elected in a landslide. I'm pretty sure Kim Jong-un has been, and Xi Jinping. They've all been elected. Castro, Idi Amin, dictators are elected quite frequently. We don't view those elections the same as ours, nor should we. But hopefully we will always have free and fair elections, although there's a lot of doubt, a lot of concern about whether that was the case in 2020, when a lot of the ways that we vote were changed, were expanded in the name of safety, because the government was trying to protect us, right? They had noble purposes. COVID was out there lurking in the atmosphere, killing, if you listen to the experts, got to listen to the experts, millions of people. That was what the Supreme Court was listening to yesterday, were arguments about free speech, social media platforms, the way we get information now. The way we get information now is decidedly different than the way we used to get information. We used to get information from 3 major television networks and your hometown newspaper, maybe a hometown radio station. That's pretty much it. Now, the competition across the news business is much more robust. Anybody who can buy or download free sound software can do a podcast. Anybody with a phone is a reporter. Anybody savvy enough to put up their own website can distribute information. And all of that should fall under the protections of the First Amendment, free speech. Our founding fathers could not have envisioned the internet. They could not have envisioned podcasts. They could not have envisioned the way we get information now. But they applied the First Amendment to protect the marketplace of ideas. I'm concerned today that even though we will have free and fair elections, that we aren't guaranteed, based upon what I heard yesterday out of the Supreme Court in the oral arguments. I'm not convinced we're always going to have free speech. And let me just say, if we don't have free speech, we don't have a country. We don't have a country that's different than other countries. And our country will slide toward what we see in other countries that aren't the kind of countries that we've traditionally associated with, being countries that are dictatorships or not free. For instance, Canada, right? Oh, we assume Canada's a free country, right? Canada's a lot like us. Well, Canada has a pretty robust hate speech policy. Any speech that is expressed in a public way or place that targets a person or group of people with protected characteristics, such as race, religion, or sexual orientation. If you use extreme language to express hatred toward that person or group of people because of their protected characteristic. So here in America, we have lots of speech that is labeled hate speech. You can't be put in jail for it. You can in Canada. You can in Canada. What about Scotland, England, Great Britain? Police officers in Scotland are being given training to target, listen up, social media posts, including retweets of material deemed threatening and abusive. Under the country's new hate crime law in Scotland, actors and comedians are not given a free pass to make jokes about sensitive subjects that offend people either. The cast of Saturday Night Live, if they were doing what they do in Scotland, making fun of Joe Biden's age, no, Trump wouldn't apply. You could disparage Trump. That'd be fine. But if you make fun of Joe Biden's age, they could be thrown in jail. The new training to officers, listen to this, requires police officers to go after anyone who produces material deemed threatening and abusive. And of course, the government makes the decision on what's threatening and what's abusive, which can also be communicated through public performance of a play. So you can do like a dramatic production or musical or something like that. And if you have anything in there, you make a joke about, whoever, they can come after you. Under the new hate crime law, people who make fun of or misgender trans people, make racial jokes or criticism of certain religions, or criticize migrants can be prosecuted. I'm going away for like 80 years because I keep retweeting. Every time I see an illegal immigrant commit a crime, I retweet the crime because we were told when Laken Riley was murdered that there's no link between immigration and crime. No link at all. So this is very concerning because I think we would all agree that the United States has traditionally been a lot like Great Britain. I mean, we came from Great Britain, right? We've been a lot like Canada, or Canada's been a lot like us. And the creep toward taking away the things that make us unique, things that used to apply in Great Britain and Scotland and Canada, those characteristics are going away there. What is to make us think they won't go away here? Listen to Ketanji Brown Jackson yesterday, who Joe Biden yesterday said is the most brilliant Supreme Court justice. This is an attorney advocating in front of Ketanji Brown Jackson. Well, actually, she's questioning him about Missouri and Louisiana winning a lower court ruling, a district court ruling, that the Biden administration overreached when they pressured social media companies to silence dissent, disinformation, misinformation about if you didn't get a vaccine, you were a danger to humanity. If you didn't get a booster, you were a danger to humanity. If you didn't wear a mask, you were a danger to humanity. All of which have been debunked as wrong by now. But Ketanji Brown Jackson, even though the government was wrong, even though the government swore at and disparaged social media companies who didn't silence this, she's still worried about it. And you know what? She's got cover from other conservative Supreme Court justices. Does this sound like freedom of speech has a long shelf life to you? Yes. Why not? She's really worried about the government not having the freedom to pressure the outlets of content distribution in the country. She's really worried because she says the government has a duty to protect its citizens. It does. But do we have confidence that the government will do that without, as Merrick Garland says, fear or favor? Vaccines, boosters, masks, Hunter Biden laptop, Donald Trump bloodbath. Do we have confidence that they'll do it for the good of the people? Do we think? I mean, let's just not put it in context of the Biden administration. Do Democrats believe that whatever Donald Trump said from the White House from 2016 to 2020, that Donald Trump said it for the good of the people. No, Democrats don't believe that. Half the country doesn't believe that. Do Republicans now believe that what Joe Biden and his acolytes say from the White House is for the good of the country? No, half the country doesn't believe that. Yet Ketanji Brown Jackson and other conservatives, you'll hear them in a moment, believe that the government still needs to have that right. Even though they've been wrong about everything over the last 4 years, wrong about every single thing. It's not good enough for us to say, no, let's compete in the marketplace of ideas.
Winds and low humidity resulting in a high fire threat. The high today 48. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight. Showers, low 39. Partly sunny, windy day tomorrow. The high again 48. And then sunny clouds. A colder day Thursday. The high only 41. Rain and a chilly day on Friday. That rain beginning after temperatures get above the freezing mark. The high on Friday afternoon up to 46.
I can't believe we're having this argument in this country. I can't believe that after the government has been so wrong about so many things that affected so many lives. Think of this. Like, you couldn't go and see your dying mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, son, daughter during COVID. You couldn't go see them in the hospital. You couldn't have a proper funeral for them because the government told us it wasn't safe. And yet the Supreme Court, which is separate from the executive branch, separate from the legislative branch, the Supreme Court, not just Ketanji Brown Jackson, I don't want to be unfair to her, they're saying, no, we still have to preserve this right. Like, you know, government officials are allowed to tweet. Government officials are allowed to make Facebook posts. They're allowed to hold speeches. They're allowed to be quoted by newspapers and websites and all that. They're allowed to get, are they like kept from getting their opinion out? Like, if Bernie Sanders walks out of the Senate today, aren't there like 50 TV cameras around him? And what he says, can't that information get out? Of course it can get out. There's a difference between that and blocking information from getting out. Like they blocked information from smart people like Jay Bhattacharya and Marty Makary and the Great Barrington Declaration on COVID. Like, that wasn't allowed to be read and evaluated. If we don't protect free speech in this country, we are done. We are done as the United States of America. We are done as a nation. Because I would rather have the capacity to be wrong, to not get vaccinated and to die from COVID or whatever other thing is coming. It is essential that we preserve that freedom in this country. If we don't, if we allow others to decide what's best for us, then we're prisoner to whether they really are making their decisions based upon what's best for us, if they're making their decisions based upon what's best for their preservation of their own political power. Which do you think guides them? I'm skeptical that they're really making the decision for what's best for people apart from their own political power, influence, and prominence. I'm very skeptical of that. I think I have historical basis to be skeptical of that. Okay? So that's what we're talking about today here on primary day. We'll delve a little bit into the GOP Senate race next. Appreciate you joining us. We are in commercial right now on radio, but we'll be back in a few minutes.
Time in my life. You're amazing. I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Well, spring is the time where you start to look back at the yard, look at the house, start to maybe think about, hey, do some summer projects. What about new flooring? If you think it's too expensive, that's because you have not ask me to come to your home and tell you what we can do for you at Soft Step Carpet in Plain City. We're fantastic. We have fantastic installers. We have all the major brands. We do it faster than others. We do it better than others. And we have about 30-year track record of doing that. I'm affiliated with the company. Happy to be a salesperson there. Would love to help you with your flooring, whether it is carpet, whether it is LVP, which stands for luxury vinyl plank. Looks like wood, looks like tile. It's waterproof, it's scratch proof, it's dent proof. It's fantastic. So how do you get a hold of me? Well, you can email me, brucehooley@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, brucehooley.com, and click on the flooring icon in the upper right-hand corner, or you can visit our stores right on 161, just down from Costco, or you can call our store, 614-873-0001. Ask for me. Love to help you. Soft Step Carpet in Plain City. So you'll see a lot of those "I voted today" stickers out there, hopefully, although the turnout is not supposed to be very big. Let's hope it's big for Bernie Moreno on the Republican GOP Senate race. Let's hope it's big for Brendan Shea, Madison County Commissioner. I had Brendan on the show yesterday for Patty Hamilton, who was running to represent Pickaway County, Madison County, Western Franklin County in the Ohio State House. Just a couple thoughts before we get back to the free speech question before the Supreme Court. I was talking with a friend today, someone who's very savvy in political circles, and we were talking about the GOP Senate race and who he thought would win, who I thought would win. I've said before, the plethora of attack ads on Bernie Moreno tells you that the Democratic Party is hopeful that Matt Dolan will win. It also tells you that Bernie Moreno is the guy who worries them. But let's just assume Bernie Moreno does not win. What would that tell us? Frank LaRose is not going to win. LaRose and Bernie are going to split the vote. This has been my fear all along. They're going to split the vote among authentic conservatives and allow Matt Dolan a pathway. I'm not sure he'll get to the finish line. Hopefully Bernie Moreno will get to the finish line and win. But if Moreno doesn't win this race in a state as red as Ohio, does it tell us anything about Donald Trump's appeal nationally in the fall? It might. It really might. Trump has come out foursquare behind Bernie Moreno. Bernie's got J.D. Vance behind him. He's got Jim Jordan behind him. And the fact that Frank LaRose is still garnering somewhere between 16 and 20% of the vote, and this is not meant as a slam on Frank. I don't blame Frank for running. I think Frank's a good man. I'd be fine with Frank LaRose winning. It's just the polls say he's not going to win. The fact that LaRose has such a large chunk of voters tells you that there are a large chunk of voters in Ohio, in bright red Ohio, that are purposefully going away from Trump. Now, I still think Trump will win Ohio, but Ohio is viewed as a given in Trump's camp as Trump tries to get back into the White House, defeating Joe Biden in the fall. If there are in a red state as Ohio, 16% of the Republican voters who won't vote for Trump, who won't say, okay, Trump says Bernie, Jim Jordan says Bernie, J.D. Vance says Bernie, I'm Bernie. I'm Bernie. I'm all the way with Bernie. LaRose's chunk of the vote tells you there is an undercurrent of dissatisfaction in bright red Ohio with Donald Trump. That's a problem as you look to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and states like that that Trump has to win a majority of in order to go back to the White House. So that's what I see indicative of Dolan. If Dolan sneaks in because of the percentage of the vote that LaRose has, which obviously if Bernie had all of LaRose's voters, or if LaRose had all of Bernie's voters, then I would be like, okay, but there's a reason why LaRose has a different amount of voters, a different section of voters than Bernie does, because LaRose does not have, and by the way, Dolan too, right? Like Dolan is the anti-Trump candidate. Dolan is, so you got more people as you break down that Senate race. You add Dolan and LaRose's voters together, There are way more of them than there are right now, according to the polls, locked in on Trump's preferred candidate and my preferred candidate. I prefer Bernie apart from Trump. And I'm not trying to equate, my blessing with Trump's blessing. I'm just saying, if there are more Republicans in the state of Ohio who are going away from Trump's anointed candidate, that tells you that across Republican circles nationwide, there is a significant problem with everybody being on board the Trump train. The way that our economy is suffering, the way that we are embarrassed on the world stage, the way I saw a graphic today, under Biden in the White House, there have been like more than 20 U.S. embassies evacuated since he, in foreign countries, since he took office. Like the world is a mess because of U.S. weakness. Our military is depleted because of the amount of military armaments we've sent Ukraine. And now we're sending Israel. We should be sending them all to Israel. Hamas is emboldened by Biden not taking a strong stand, an unequivocal stand behind Israel. And yet Biden's right in there. The polls, Trump and Biden are, 50-50 within the margin of error. That's an issue. That's a big time issue as it concerns Trump and his electability. And that's the key word. I've said before, I want to win the presidency. That's why I supported DeSantis, because I thought DeSantis gave us the best chance to win. Okay. Let me turn to the Supreme Court and to the argument on free speech. And John Stossel, a former consumer reporter on ABC, had a great piece yesterday on social media about the kind of continuum of how we got to this point with the Supreme Court. Actually, let me save that for the next segment because George in Newark has a thought on the attack ads toward Bernie Moreno. Hi, George. I got about a minute left in this segment. What's on your mind today?
A lot of people are believing all of these slander campaigns against.
Oh, yeah, they're very effective ads. There's a kernel of truth in them, but a kernel of truth is not the whole truth. And as I've told you before, and I know you know, a half truth is a lie. So, and Dolan is trafficked in this. He's very good at it.
Oh, I know. What's disgraceful is that you don't never see Democrats doing this. Republicans are slandering Republicans. The Democrats don't even have to do any of the work. We're doing it all for them.
You're not wrong on that. The Democrats are very good at staying together in the same house, as they say. Hope you go to the polls today. Hope you vote for Bernie. And I appreciate your comment, George. Thanks for calling the show. Yeah, they are very good at it. Democrats, they anoint their favorite and they get foursquare behind him. I mean, do you need any greater proof of that than the fact that no Democrat of any consequence stepped forward to challenge Joe Biden in the presidential race? I mean, even a name as royal as Kennedy can't get a fair hearing in Democratic circles.
And that's our news. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump has not been able to secure the $500 million bond needed to appeal his New York civil fraud judgment. If it wasn't for a lack of trying, Mr. Trump's lawyers approached roughly 30 bond providers. Former president has told the Salem radio network's Dr. Sebastian Gorka that Jewish people who vote Democrat hate Israel, hate their religion as well. Primaries today in 5 states, including Ohio. There's a 3-way Republican race for U.S. Senate. In campaign mode, President Biden hitting the road again. And gang violence continues to intensify in Haiti, now impacting the wealthier areas of the capital, Port-au-Prince. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 182 points, the Nasdaq down 59, the S&P trading 1 point in the red. For details, srnnews.com.
Our government has engorged itself on borrowed money. Now we are over $30 trillion in debt. If this bubble finally implodes, many Americans would be left penniless and heartbroken. For example, what happens if state and federal pension funds go broke, or 401ks and IRAs get cut in half due to hyperinflation? Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, news analyst, best-selling author, and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. People who understand something big is coming. Now's the time to prepare with a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals are among the most proven hedges you can make. They're even better inside a tax advantage account. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached, so just text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you are blessed with continued
news. Here, when you the answer anywhere you go with the Answers mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also with your smart speakers, or iHeart.
Attention business owners, medical practice owners, and taxpayers with non-presidential taxes. If you're not getting timely and useful financial advice throughout the year from your accountant, why not? I'm CPA Brad Henderson from Your Tax CPA. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just the tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial, tax planning, and other major business needs, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, score what you did last year. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have monthly consultations with our business clients because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. See us before April 15th and get a free copy of my latest book, The Ohio Business Owner's Tax Survival Guide. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
The Tilton family at Tilton's Automotive Service has been serving our community with state-of-the-art equipment for nearly 35 years. From oil changes to detailing to complete engine replacement, we're here to serve you to the highest levels and make you part of the family. All our repairs are backed by a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. Check out our mobile app for discounts and specials. Tilton's Automotive Service, in the shadow of Anheuser-Busch in Columbus and just off Creekside in Gahanna. For more info, check out tiltonsauto.com. Take it to Tilton's. His mission used to be to protect and serve. Now he's on a mission to serve God, to be the voice of for the people. He's Brandon Tatum, and you can hear him weeknights from 8 to 11 on the Officer Tatum Show on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Well, a little cold weather, not that welcome, except at sleeping time. It's much easier for me to sleep if I have some heavy covers on me, but if I'm laying on sheets that are sandpaper, no amount of covers on me, no amount of coziness in other areas is going to help if you have sandpaper sheets. If you fell for the thread count boondoggle and your sheets are not soft and buttery, well, you can fix that issue. MyPillow is the place to go. MyPillow.com specifically. Use my promo code Bruce. You'll get the lowest prices in history on the Giza Dream bed sheets. $59.98 for a queen size set. King size, just $69.98. You say, you never give the prices for the full or the twin. Do they not have them? Of course they have them. It's just that most people sleep in a king or a queen size bed. And most people sleep fantastic on Giza Dream bed sheets. Now, I sleep fantastic on them, but I also have a MyPillow. So if you would like to bulletproof your sleep and wake up rested, restored, rehabilitated, and ready to go, go to MyPillow.com, and always for the lowest prices, use my promo code Bruce. So why was someone standing outside the Supreme Court yesterday with a sign that said freedom equals free speech? Because they're smart. If we don't have free speech, if we don't have the marketplace of ideas, if we don't have the ability to freely state what we think, even though it may be wigged out and crazy, then we don't have the country that our founders gave us. The right to free speech, you'll notice, is not in the 12th Amendment to the Constitution or the 15th Amendment of the Constitution or the 17th Amendment of the Constitution. It is the First Amendment, which tells you that they thought it was the most essential. And it is. Intrusions on freedom of speech, easy to spot. when it's in China, Russia, North Korea, places like that. Oh, I'm glad we're not them. Well, the elimination of free speech has now come to Canada, come to England, come to Scotland. Have you seen the video of the woman arrested for praying silently outside an abortion clinic in England? You've probably seen that. In segment 1 today, talked about the new Scottish hate speech law, where if you retweet something on social media that they deem to be hate speech, oh, you misgendered somebody, oh, you made a joke about a politician, police will arrest you. They will come to your house and they will arrest you, and they can't. Satire? No more. There is no satire. Musicians, comedians, not allowed. No dissent will be allowed. Canada, we've already seen it, right? So what protects us from that here is the First Amendment, except that it didn't protect us from that here when it came to, oh, a once-in-a-century pandemic. There's John Stossel, who's always stood up for free speech and for the people's right to know, people's right to make their own judgment. Here's Stossel yesterday, starting off with a retrospective into why this case is even before the Supreme Court and how ridiculous it is that we're even arguing whether or not the government should have the right to censor our speech. Oh, it's not, huh? Well, the FBI and its director, Chris Hayes, now has a different view. Chris Hayes. The definitive Chris Hayes himself, now not so definitive. Right here. Oh, a kernel of truth. Yeah, everybody. A kernel of truth, everybody. Okay. So where did COVID come from? They got that wrong. Vaccines, got to have them. Can't get COVID if you have a vaccine. Remember Rachel Maddow? It just can't get you. Fauci can't get to you. Get a vaccine. You're totally safe, right? Wear a mask. Oh, wait. Rand Paul tried that. Didn't work out so well. So we damaged a bunch of kids with the masks, psychologically, medically. But nevertheless, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, all yesterday at the Supreme Court. Oh, I don't know. We don't know if we want to take that away from government or not. It could be really serious. Ketanji Brown Jackson's view was, if you don't allow social media companies to be pressured by the government into silencing speech, kids might not be safe. And the lawyer for Missouri and Louisiana, which has already won this case at the lower courts, said, well, the White House is allowed to hold a press conference and put out what the White House says is the White House's view of this. Jen Psaki, Corinne Jean identity hire, Bernie Sanders, Jamal Bowman, AOC, they're all allowed to tweet from their own accounts saying, careful kids, got to get the vaccine. The competition of ideas is allowed. The government wants all dissenting ideas excluded, which, sounds like fascism and dictatorship and all the things the government is railing about will happen if Donald Trump is elected president. If it had been only COVID, if it had been only vaccines, if it had been only masks or only boosters, but it wasn't. Right before the election, You know what happened, right? Yeah, but do we have clarity now on the Hunter Biden laptop? Is there perhaps a different viewpoint from those who did everything they possibly could to censor the distribution of the New York Post story?
Well, the story was true.
Several news organizations have authenticated many emails from the laptop.
So the media who smeared this as a Russian plot, do they now admit they were wrong? No. They just say things like, nobody cares about Hunter Biden's laptop.
That voice you just heard, nobody cares about Hunter Biden's laptop, is the same voice you heard in the previous clip where he was saying, oh, well, so they dropped the laptop off at the QAnon repair shop, huh? They will not apologize when they are caught. They will not apologize when they are exposed as being blatantly wrong. Because to them, the juice is worth the squeeze. Let's censor it. Let's eliminate it. If we're wrong, we'll never acknowledge our error. Maybe people won't remember. And our purposes will be accomplished regardless. There's a lesson here, and the lesson is the government became so successful at getting Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the other social media sites to do its bidding for them that eventually the government thought, well, why don't we just cut out the middleman and why don't we just do it ourselves? Yeah, we remember the Disinformation Governance Board, the crazy lady singing show tunes. They stopped that, but boy, they got close to accomplishing their goal. And what's to make us think they won't keep trying?
Cloudy and windy this afternoon. Gusty winds and low humidity resulting in high fire threat. The high hitting 48. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight. Showers, low 39. Partly sunny, windy day tomorrow. The high again 48. And then sunny clouds. A colder day Thursday. The high only 41. Rain and a chilly day on Friday. That rain beginning after temperatures get above the freezing mark. High on Friday afternoon up to 46. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
One service is in tune with your needs. It's time to get the kitchen of your dreams. Update, upgrade, uplift with Kitchen Tune-Up. Your cabinets need an update? Have you always wanted a new modern door style? Or maybe you just want to start from scratch and redo everything. Kitchen Tune-Up makes the process enjoyable and hassle-free. Stop in. Let's make a plan. We'll bring your vision to life. 0% financing is available right off Wilson Bridge Road in Worthington. Go to kitchentune-up.com for a free in-home estimate. Update, upgrade, uplift with Kitchen Tune-Up.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line. If I get elected, Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be the least of it. You're talking about the automobile industry domestic manufacturing. It is so obvious that you have to be either stupid or malign to misreport.
So we had a caller who wanted to know why you're so pro Bernie over Moreno, or Bernie over Goldman.
Okay, I explained that a million times.
I know. That's what I wanted to tell him.
Okay. I'll tell him. I'll say when I come back. Thanks.
Shadiness is a pattern with Marino, who quietly supported amnesty for millions of illegals, but now pretends otherwise. You can tell a lot about someone's character by what he does when no one's watching. Bernie Marino flunks that test. And Secretary of State Frank LaRose is no better. LaRose quietly spent your tax dollars to benefit himself politically. And LaRose changed Ohio's ballot language to affect the election results. It was a breach of public trust. Bernie Marino and Frank LaRose, if they're this sneaky and corrupt in Ohio, just imagine if they go to Washington. Buckeye Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. BuckeyesLeague.com.
Breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds of conservative opinion. It's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Sebastian Gorga, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Critical thinking is strong. The speed of truth is unwavering. Salem News Channel, free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/.
Yes, a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in this country, Costco is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-353-2973 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
So you may have been a great athlete in your day. You may have no athleticism at all. Doesn't matter. You, whether you know it or not, are just like an NFL player, like an NFL great, like Bernie Kosar or Emmitt Smith. You say, that doesn't make any sense. Well, sure it does. Do you have achy joints, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder? Well, you know where they go when they have those issues? They go to QC Kinetics, and you should go too. They're offering you a free consultation right here in Columbus to offer you the same medical treatment that Emmett and Bernie and other ex-NFL players and ex-athletes and weekend warriors like myself can get by having QC Kinetics concentrate the healing agents in your body and re-inject those agents into your body in concentrated form to help you heal. It's non-surgical. It is fantastic. It is working for people all over this area, and it can work for you. Call for your free consultation, 380-208-4544, QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. So here's a long, 4-minute interchange between Justice Alito and one of the attorneys arguing for the government to be able to censor speech yesterday at the Supreme Court. I'm going to play it. I'm going to stop it periodically. I'm going to interject. But here is Alito, who's the only justice that seems to me like he's, Clarence Thomas will be, of course, but I'm not confident in Roberts. I'm not confident in Gorsuch. Didn't have much to say yesterday. But Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, they both seemed aligned with Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sotomayor, Kagan, saying, okay, sure, the government got it wrong with the censorship on COVID, but hey, we got to be able to protect people from free speech. Alito not having it, thankfully. Now, what he's talking about is the people who he says are sitting over there. That's the New York Times, the Washington Post. That's print media. Okay. You're not allowed to film in the Supreme Court, but you are allowed to have reporters in the room, take notes, write stories about it. And Alito is pointing to the newspapers there, which used to be, the major sources of distribution, along with the three major TV networks. And Alito is saying, I can't imagine the government calling the editor of the New York Times, well, he might be overstating it there, and saying, hey, write it this way. Washington Post, write it this way. That now happens. It didn't used to happen. And even if it happened now, I think there'd be times where the newspapers would say, no. We have freedom of the press. We're going to do it our way. Do you think Nixon, White House, could have called the Washington Post back in the day, got Ben Bradley on the phone and said, hey, get this Woodward guy and this Bernstein guy to knock it off. Knock it off with this Watergate garbage. Nobody cares about it. It's misinformation. You know how far that would have gone. And then Alito talks about Section 230, which is the government's protection for social media sites where when something is published on Twitter, something is published on Facebook, let's say it's inflammatory toward an individual. That never happens. Let's say it doxes somebody, like somebody who lives with TikTok, Chaya Raichik, okay? All the stuff written about Chaya Raichik online, all the stuff written about J.K. Rowling online. It's vitriolic, it's untrue, it's libelous, it's slanderous. But Chaya Raichik and J.K. Rowling can't sue Twitter and can't sue Facebook because of Section 230 protections. That's what Alito is talking about when he talks about, sure, you can threaten social media companies because you could take away Section 230 and then that would really hurt their business. But you can't do that with newspapers. Here's the conversation continuing. This is the attorney for the government. He's correcting the Supreme Court justice on the proper context. Okay, we only did it once. Give us the exception rule, please. He's really making the desperate times for desperate measures argument. That's what he's making. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Sure, censorship is bad. Yes, it's against the First Amendment, but it's a desperate time. It's a desperate time. We got to be allowed to do it. When is it not a desperate time, right? When is it not a desperate time? Oh, abortion is bad. It's evil. It's terrible. It hurts women. Well, you can't say that because that's a desperate. You might keep somebody from getting an abortion and then they might have mental health issues. I mean, this is a desperate time, so we got to be able to censor that. Oh, they're promoting bad information. You mean like the Great Barrington Declaration? You mean like all the stuff that they were promoting bad information that turned out to be true? It was bad information because you didn't like it. It was bad information because you didn't agree with it. It has all proven to be accurate information, inconvenient to you at the time. Yes, but there's a big difference between the White House and Jen Psaki saying, this is our position. We believe vaccines are necessary. We believe boosters are necessary. We believe masks are necessary. That's certainly fine. They can do that. They can share that with social media. But when you have meetings and you say, stop putting this out, stop allowing Americans to see it, stop allowing people to make their own judgment about what they're going to do with their health, do not give them competing information. Do not allow them to see it because we say it's wrong. It hurts the agenda we want to advance. There's a huge difference between giving a social media company, a social media content distribution platform, your view of something and saying, don't put this other view out. And if you do, we're going to come after you. We're going to make your life miserable by rescinding your protections of Section 230 and others. It is amazing to me. And I don't think that the attorneys for the government don't see that. I think that they love the power that they have so much. And why wouldn't they? Who doesn't love power? Particularly when you don't have any deference to or respect for the authority of God. Then you think you're God, and you think you have maybe even altruistic motives in mind, because we know what's best for people, right? I just want to have the freedom to make my own decisions, which, you know, I haven't been alive for the entirety of this country, but throughout my life, 60 plus years, I've had that autonomy. I've had that freedom. I've had that liberty. Democrats misportray it on things like abortion. Oh, it's reproductive rights. Freedom this, freedom that. But they don't want to apply it on a broad scale when it inconveniences them. So vote today. And tomorrow we'll have the results of the primary election. We'll talk about that. Thanks for joining us. You can catch hour number 2 of the show on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page, on the 989 The Answer Facebook page. And I didn't talk about Riverbend Ranch Steaks today. Here's the website, riverbendranchsteaks.com. Check out their beef, Black Angus beef from a ranch out west, one ranch, totally controlled start to finish by the rancher. No hormones, no antibiotics ever. The best marbling, USDA choice and prime, every cut. And it's priced about what it is in your grocery store, but it's so much better. And we had filet mignon last night at home for dinner, because the price on it now is just crazy low. You can get it for as low as $12 a pound. They sell so much of it, and they have the total operation integrated. They don't have to ship their cattle to market. They have so many different ways of reducing the cost of actually getting the beef from birth right to your doorstep. That's why it's priced the way it's priced. No artificial anything. It's always great for you. So check it out, riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. You get it shipped every month, every other month, however you want it. So check that out and have a great day.